Welcome back to Piers Morgan Uncensored. The saga of trans athletes competing in women's sport appears to be nearing what I would say is a common sense conclusion, at least for now. Images like this of transgender swimmer Leah Thomas that we discussed earlier kind of crystallise the absurdity and unfairness. Well, certainly that's what I think. Well, high-profile stories like that of Laurel Hubbard, who made the Tokyo Olympics as a trans weightlifter at the age of 43, nearly double the age of any of the other female contestants, sparked furious debate. Well, last week, World Athletics announced that trans athletes will no longer be allowed to compete against women from the end of this month. They did it to protect fairness and integrity of women's sport. Critics said it's transphobic. That's their response to anything in this debate, and leaves trans women with nowhere to go, which is a fairer argument, which has to be resolved. Well, joining me now is British shot put champion Amelia Strickler and human rights campaigner Peter Tatchell. Welcome to both of you. Amelia, we had you on before about this, and you were very passionate about why this needed to happen. So I'd imagine you've really been pleased to see this development.
100%. A lot of women, especially in athletics, are really, really excited about this. It's just about now making it go into grassroots and masters level, where there is a lot of trans women competing in the women's category as well. So now that we've got the elite level, it needs to be all levels, all sports.
So, Peter, it's complex, this, because I don't want trans athletes not to be able to compete. Let me just say that straight away. But I spent some time with Martina Navratilova in Florida last week, who's been recovering from double cancer, and it was a very moving interview. But we actually had a chat about this as well, because she's one of the most high-profile LGBTQ campaigners there's ever been. And yet, when she raised her head over the parapet about this and said, I just think it's a real problem, and you can't allow this to continue, otherwise women's sport will be destroyed, she then tried to be cancelled. And people abused her, they shamed her and so on, which I thought was completely ridiculous. The idea she's not a friend of the transgender community because she's trying to stand up for what she saw as an unfairness for women's rights in sport. And I just thought that was terrible. What do you make of this ruling by Sebastian Coe and World Athletics, and how do we resolve all this?
Well, the first principle is that sport has to be fair, and it's not fair if people have particular unique advantages.
So you would accept that?
Well, I accept that, but I would also accept that not all trans athletes are the same. So some may have an advantage and others may not. So, for example, I know a trans woman, who competes in a women's football team. Among the team, she's one of the smallest and weakest of the team. No one can say that she has an unfair advantage. And equally, all athletes in elite sports have some kind of advantage. They may have extra large lungs or hearts, long legs, tall height. Michael Phelps, that fantastic, brilliant swimmer who won so many gold medals in the pool,
had an unfeasibly large wingspan.
And
when he put his arms out, it was 6 inches longer than anybody else's reach. So,
but he also had extra large lung capacity.
Right. So I've heard this.
Extra large feet.
Yeah, I think it's not an invalid argument, Amelia. That there, in all sport, you're going to get some people who are physical freaks, if for want of a better phrase, like Michael Phelps, who literally could do this. And it's normally the same as your height or something, isn't it, the span? And he had 6 inches extra and massive hands, right? Obviously can help him, and huge feet, I think, as well. What's your response to that argument?
But biologically, they're still the sex that they're competing against. At the end of the day, reducing a testosterone level is not going to cut it, because women are so much more than a testosterone level.